So, how do we get there? Eating meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. So that is the quality of our food. So the first thing that you want to do, whole, unprocessed foods. Okay? So what I'm about to go through, you've probably heard from any kind of Instagram influencer. You've heard from other people, but it's just reiterating that and making it simple. Eating it in that order. We'll get to the no sugar part. I'll talk about that in a second. Meat and vegetables should be the foundation of your plate. Okay? What meat you want to do, if you go to the last piece, last page. If you want to say, I don't know what to fix, there. Shopping list, right there. Okay? Pick a meat that you like and eat a lot of that. Okay? That's a good start. Next thing you should have on there are the vegetables. Now, if you've talked to me long enough, you know my personal opinion on vegetables. I'm trying to do better, right? I'm trying to do better. But vegetables are very important. Okay? Micronutrients, okay? All of the things that will help, not only with the micronutrients, but satiety. So my ability to be able to stay full, right? Protein is one of the things that will help with that, but also if you eat a ton of broccoli, we'll talk about maybe doing a ton of broccoli, but if you eat a green like that, right, it's going to make you more full than some sort of liquid, right? Or something that has what is called a high glycemic index, something that's processed by your body very fast. So eat meat and vegetables. Now, when we talk about nuts and seeds, that's a catch-all for fats. So when I say fats, it's like avocados, right? We're talking about some good oils, olive oil, right? Avocado oil. I'm not going to go into the depths that CrossFit does regarding certain types of oil, canola oils and stuff like that. What I'm going to tell you is that canola oil and seed oils like that, prior to their usage for humans, was used for industrial machines. And after around, I think, World War II, they started to realize they could use it in food. And it didn't kill you, at least quickly. It is if you do it long term, right? So, nuts and seeds is a catch-all. Good quality fats. And that could be the fat that's in your meat, right? Almonds, it could be some sort of actual food itself, but that's what the nuts and seed piece is. So, some fruit. Now, what I think that simply means is that it shouldn't be more than your vegetables. Okay? Now, fruit is not sugar. So unpack that. Okay? Fruit is not sugar. And when I talk about sugar, I'm talking about processed sugars, right? So when you eat an apple, there's actually fiber in an apple. It actually helps you. Okay? Not a lot, not compared to some other things, right? But it does slow down the digestive process, right? So some fruit. Okay? Little starch, that simply means that if you're going to eat starch, you're trying to find good quality whole foods for your starches. So when you look at your plate, okay, we'll talk about how we kind of visualize these things as we go into measuring. You don't want it to be half of your plate, right? You want it to be there, but you'd be surprised there are people that go to an extreme, what we call the carnivore diet, right? We don't have to go there, but there are people that can be in an extreme diet that have not eaten carbohydrates for years. Your body does a process that actually will convert some protein into glycogen or some form of sugar. Okay, so that's why it says you don't have to have a ton of carbohydrates. Okay, now when we get into macros and how you kind of build what your food intake daily looks like, if you're an athlete, yes, you need more carbohydrates. Meaning, if you're doing this like. If I'm working out, I'm doing 2 a days and things like that, you absolutely should be eating more carbohydrates. You should be, but what we're doing here, we're just trying to be healthy long term. Right? This is a long-term goal, not this particular 6-week period. Okay? And then of course, we've got no sugar. Now that's any added sugar. So I think that for a good starting point when you're thinking about resetting your nutrition, that's not a bad idea. I don't think long term we can again, thinking about the healthy relationship with food, thinking, oh my God, I can't have honey. I can't put some fucking Splenda in my coffee, right? It's a balancing act. And the key thing is that, are you drinking soda, right? Are you adding sugars that don't need to be there, right? I know we're all probably guilty of this at least once or twice, where we take fruit and put more sugar on it. You don't need to do that. I think that's what we're talking about, okay? So adding sugar to your life is not going to be a bad thing, but if you're trying to reset your mindset or focus on nutrition, or you're trying to get to that end point of fitness, that's when you start talking about the true elimination of certain things, right? Okay? Because I think I was overhearing Jess talk about when she had cut sugar out, like how angry she was. But you're realizing you're kind of going through some levels of withdrawal. Caffeine's the same thing. Caffeine is the biggest drug consumed by Americans. And I know that because I'm guilty. If you knew what I drank by 10 a.m. in terms of the amount of caffeine, you'd think I was trying to just kill myself. Okay? But it is the most consumed drug we have, so sugar's the same thing. So the quality of the foods. When I say quality, it's not that you have to eat organic. Right? Could we, if you can afford that? Because that's the key